Now to the troubling news about the extent of Haiti's cholera epidemic. Health officials say that the death toll has risen to at least 1,344, and they predict the scale of the epidemic will surpass the original estimate of 200,000 cases. Well, as the needs grow, the UN is asking donor countries to reach deeper into their pockets. It says it's received less than 10% of the some $164 million needed to combat the disease. Well, compounding all of this, the UN says protests targeting its peacekeepers are still disrupting the delivery of vital humanitarian aid. We've got two reports for you now. Ivan Watson is in Port-au-Prince, while senior UN correspondent Richard Roth is in New York. Let's start with Ivan. Sir, the picture on the ground.
Well, you may be able to hear some music in the background, and that is because in the midst of this health crisis, with a growing death toll, 1,344 people at least who have died as a result of cholera since it was first detected on the island last month, you have a political campaign underway. Elections are just 6 days away. They're going to take place on Sunday, Becky. And candidates, some 19 candidates running for president as well as for Senate and for Parliament, are out blaring music in the streets. There are crowds of people coming through here dancing and waving the posters of various candidates for office. But that cannot disguise the very grim news on the ground that more and more people are getting sick. At least 57,000 who have been treated since cholera was discovered here, and the World Health Organization predicting that their initial estimates, as you mentioned, will be far more than the initial 200,000 people that could be infected. Why is that? That's because Haiti has not had to face the cholera bacteria in at least a century. You do not have the natural immunity in the population here to the bacteria, and you also have these terrible conditions in an impoverished country with very bad sewage systems, poor access to clean water, and medical workers who are not trained on how to deal with this disease that is rampaging through this impoverished society. Becky?
Ivan, where's the money? First question. And secondly, just how bad are these protests against the UN members, the forces there, who are, one assumes, struggling to keep order at this point?
Well, that's right. We did see a lot of violence last week, a lot of stone throwing in several cities against the United Nations peacekeepers. Today, I've been hearing about clashes in a town to the west of Port-au-Prince, not really involving peacekeepers, but complaints about the main electoral commission with Haitian police firing guns to disperse crowds of stone-throwing demonstrators and setting tires on fire. According to the International Crisis Group, there have been 13 elections here in Haiti since 1987, and nearly all of them have been marred by pre-electoral violence, by allegations of fraud and delays in the final days before the vote. And it looks like we're seeing more of the same coming into Sunday's presidential election, and that's without the challenges posed by this deadly cholera epidemic.
And still no money, Ivan.
That's right. The United Nations complaining that they've received less than 10% of the emergency $164 million they asked for to help combat the cholera epidemic. They say that they have tens of thousands of treatment packets. It's really simple what you need to battle cholera. These rehydration salts, in some cases, the more severe cases, IV fluids to inject into people. It's those first critical hours when people can become dehydrated due to acute diarrhea, which can actually kill a victim. And all it takes is rehydration to keep somebody alive. The big challenges the UN has been telling me is that they don't have enough trained doctors and nurses who know how to deal with the disease. They don't have enough trucks to collect the bodies of victims who are dying. I talked to a Haitian Ministry of Health worker. He said that he was attacked by a stone-throwing mob when he came into one Port-au-Prince neighborhood over the weekend. Why? People were scared that he was going to bring disease into their neighborhood. They had to run away and left at least one victim, one cadaver there, and that can help spread more of the disease through an already endangered neighborhood.
Yeah, grim picture. Ivan, stay with me. Let's bring in Richard Roth from New York for an update on how the United Nations is handling this crisis. Richard, you've heard what Ivan said there. What's the UN up to at this point?
Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, Becky, held a morning meeting with top UN officials on this Haiti situation, including various humanitarian leaders inside the UN organization. A lot at stake for the UN in Haiti. Critics there say the UN is really an occupying force, which the UN, of course, would deny. It's there to provide stability to help the Haitian people, to be within a phone call away at those polling places. But as we know, and as Ivan has reported, the UN peacekeepers caught in the crossfire and were the target last week. Now, the UN, as Ivan has said, badly needs nurses, doctors, chlorine tablets, tents for the cholera treatment centers that have been opened up. 36 of them now open, some 60 smaller ones to come online. Officials say the situation in the city of Cap-Haitien, the second largest population-wise in Haiti, has been calming down there compared to last week. Tony Banbury, the Assistant Secretary General for Field Support for the United Nations, told CNN earlier today that he thinks the amount of people with cholera in Haiti will rise dramatically.
This is a major emergency, and the world needs to focus on doing everything necessary to stop the spread of the disease and to treat people who catch it so they don't die from it. And we can do that. We know how to do it.
The UN's humanitarian chief, Valerie Amos, is going to tour camps there, Becky, the next 2 days. But the United Nations doesn't want to get stigmatized by people accusing them of spreading cholera or bringing it in with these Nepalese peacekeepers. Independent lab tests, according to the UN, say nothing has been found. They're not precluding anything. They think it's more important right now to focus on saving lives in Haiti.